Hey, what's going on, everyone? MTast here with the RGH podcast and two of the hottest gamer dudes, True Vanguard and Cactus HD. Today, we're going to be talking about a whole bunch of gaming topics. We're going to be talking about Thorin losing his mind and becoming Esports. Riot Games, $100 million settlement. We got Cyberpunk topping the 2021 charts. What? Hey, was that right? Is that right?
That don't make no sense. There's no way.
China is banning Steam, and then Logan Paul, never heard of him. Logan Paul destroying 5,000 Gameboys.
5,000.
That was what Twitter would make it seem like.
Hey, maybe that's what it is. So let's just jump into the content. So apologize if any of the audio settings are a little off. My keyboard had a malfunction today. Yeah, I don't know.
What happened, Tash?
I dumped a bunch of water into it, and then I decided to dry it off with a little towel. And then I was like, hey, there's a bunch of water underneath the caps.
What dries water?
A hairdryer, apparently.
Of course!
So I used a hairdryer, and it was much hotter than I thought, and I melted and fused all the keys. I killed it. I murdered all the plastic inside.
Bro.
And I pressed down on the S key, and it was like kind of squishy. And I pressed down the S key, and it got stuck there, and I was like, huh, that doesn't seem right. And yeah, all the buttons are broken. So I completely killed the keyboard.
I can't believe you've done this.
Well, it was a keyboard, and it had little, it was a mechanical keyboard, but it had I think it's called a membrane, and so it's got a little bit of a soft feel to it. I'm pretty sure I melted that. Whatever was under there. So yeah, so I got a little $19. Fun fact, Logitech, $19.
Hey, there you go.
Logitech, no RGB in this bad boy. The worst.
Yeah, that's what they're like. Mine has a detachable, softy thing for you, but when a whisk can go on, and when I plug it in, then it RGBs around it. I swear,
nice, dude.
90% of the cost of my keyboard is just RGB lights that I couldn't possibly care less about.
And your whisk protector.
Why would a whisk protector? Why would a whisk get so? Because I'm playing Destiny for 8 hours a day. I need to protect these wrists, baby.
Fun fact: I've got a little wrist protector too. And what's that little logo right there in the middle?
Wait, where'd you get that from?
It's from. Do you remember when Razer did that collaboration with Destiny? There's a Razer Ornata keyboard, I think.
Oh, the Ornata, yeah. I have an Ornata.
This is that, and so I was using a different keyboard, but I kept the wrist wrapper.
Do you want to know something funny? Cool. I declined that because I was like, no, I don't do sponsorships. I was like, no, I have the most integrity out of anyone. I don't do sponsorships because guess what? Then the viewers, they respect the content, and I declined, and everyone else did it, and then it's no one gave a crap. No one gave a crap. It was a good product, and everyone's still like, this video was 15 seconds longer than Dado's video. You're actual garbage. I was like, what? Now I do sponsorships. So I'm like, bro,
you just saw the power of the Naraka Blade Point sponsorship, and you're like, okay,
hey,
I'm coming to the dark side, baby.
Yeah, honestly, it's listen, if Naraka's like, hey, do you want to play a game with your friends and we'll pay you, and the game's fun too? No,
I had too much integrity.
No, thank you, bro. And also, nothing's going on in Destiny right now. Yeah, hell no, brother. I'll do that. And it was a fun game. We all had fun.
See, I don't know. I don't know if people have any idea, but the joke where it's the Raid Shadow Legends hot tub, it's
yeah,
it's not really
it's
a
real.
joke.
It's real.
It's real. The Raid Shadow Legend hot tub.
I should be clear. Like when we're talking about sponsorships, certainly for myself and you guys too. It's like we don't pick up. I turn down a lot of sponsorships still.
You turn down way more than you take. Yeah,
I turn out way more than I take. So obviously there's a time and a place for a sponsorship. If it's like a fun product like Manscaped, like we all use Manscaped. You know what I mean? It's just like okay, I already use it. Like you know what I mean? But then there is people promoting some sussy baka stuff, and you're kind of not 100% sure about that.
I had this one. I actually turned it off for several other content creators who saw me posting about it. But I forget the name of the app. But it was like this app. Oh, actually, now I do remember the name. I'm not gonna name it though. I don't want to call attention to it. But anyways, there's this app that's supposed to like track in-game stats across multiple different games and give you like a social hub to interact with gamers. And they were like, we want to work with you. We'll pay you this rate, and we'll give away a PS5 on your channel. And I was like, wow, this is like a really good. I've never heard of these people, but they're coming at me with this a really good deal. So initially, I was like, my agency was like, we need to hear back within 24 hours, whether or not you're in. So I was like, well, sure, let's just say I'm in. And then as I got more information about this app, like, I read up on them, and they're like, been reported for stealing money from users, and
oh my gosh,
and yeah. Anyways, so I was like, I pulled out. I was like, after reading all this horrible stuff about him, I pulled out, and I just made a tweet about it, and I got contacted by some other content creators who were in on that same deal. They're like, that didn't happen to be with this app, was it? And I was like, yeah, that's them. And they're like, oh no, I already committed to that too. A bunch of us pulled out.
Yeah. It's a whole wild world. We should probably save these stories for an After Dark special, I will say.
Honestly, we're more interesting than half the
No, that's true. Well, not as interesting as this first topic here. This was... I kept seeing on Twitter, people like, I am whatever. I am, like, gaming. I am Destiny. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I was like, what is it? Like...
That's what my tweet was. I was like, I always see the meme and people quote tweeting it, but I never see the thing that they're quoting. Like, what the hell is this? And so
I know.
I did some digging, and it ended up being an esports caster named Thorin, who had a mental breakdown. Like, what do we call this thing?
Went on a bit of a rant, let me tell you. A little bit of a rant.
Tweets? Yeah. How many tweets in a row? That man didn't get any sleep either. It
was
like every hour throughout the entire night. Yeah,
dude, he should have stopped at the start. He shouldn't have even started, but he did start. He just kept going.
And
kept digging.
Like, if you want the full thing, you should just go to Thorin's Twitter page if it hasn't been shut down or locked.
No, he's still up.
He was like responding to people and like quote tweeting everyone, and like it was just an endless barrage all day of tweeting. He was going on about like female.
So there was a female
esports team,
only tournament or esports team, right?
It's a CS:GO. It's called GG for All. It was a women's tournament essentially with a $500,000 prize pool. I mean, it's huge. I mean, a couple of big sponsors came in and were like, "We're totally in for this initiative. We want women gamers to have representation in esports. This is something we want to get behind." So some pretty big sponsors came in to back this tournament. Ended up with a massive prize pool, which you would think, hey, that's pretty cool, right? Well, as it turns out, the guys in the scene, a lot of the like casters and even some of the players in the CS:GO competitive scene did not appreciate the prize pool being so big for a tournament exclusive to women.
Yeah.
Okay.
And can we say like, coming from that perspective, we're going to talk about why, but it's understandable if you're make a living on, especially winning money. If you're like a pro, a CS:GO pro, and you see a $500,000 thing and you can't participate, you're like, oh, this is BS. Like, it's understandable to have that like feeling, but then it's like you have to kind of remove yourself, the individual, from the pool and look at the wider prospect of why they're doing this, right? As an individual, again, if you're a pro and you're like, I'm going to compete in every tournament and have a huge tournament with a huge prize pool, you're like, frick, like I can't enter this. I want to win the $500,000. But again, and we'll get into why, but I think that was what really sparked everything off, was that like, I can't participate, so now I'm upset.
Yeah. And it devolved into some really... frankly, some pretty sexist comments and
then it got weird.
Pretty horrible stuff. It got weird. And at the end of it all, and even right now, it's just evolved into memes and name calling. It's not even like intelligent discussions in the CSGO scene about, you know what I mean, about the implications of the event and how we can maybe build bridges moving forward and find some common ground. Like, there's none of that right now. It's just everyone picked a side and they're just throwing hate at each other.
And the big thing you might have seen was the "I am Esports," which was he
tweeted out
one of the comments he made.
Again, it was nothing like it was no like intelligent argument of like, hey, people, this is, you know, we feel people are being left out. Maybe we can do this. Maybe we can do that. It was just like, I'm gonna rant and then I'm gonna say I am Esports.
Well, and he was like,
peon.
And he was like, this is why
he called everyone peons.
Yeah, and he was like, this is why women aren't respected in esports. Yada, yada. And it's like, wait, what? Where is this coming from? Like, it just devolved. And then one of the Twitter replies was this girl, and she's like, "You're never gonna get laid, you incel." And it was just, and then I think he was like, "Yeah, well, look at your profile picture." Like, this is just the most incel-y attitude too. And you know, the thing is a lot of people did respond that were complete incels and that hate women. Like, just they hate women, they hate esport women, and it's like they don't deserve to be there. Put them in a tournament with the male pros and see what happens. And it's like, that's not what this tournament is about. Like, are they the best players in the world? Are they winning in tournaments against, you know, Simple and Old Shroud and stuff? Maybe not, but that's not what it's about. It's about you know, honestly, it's a fun competitive thing, highlighting some other female talent in the thing, and it's like, you can't compete in it? Too bad. Because here's the thing, is like, if it wasn't this initiative, if it wasn't this thing that they're trying to do, that $500,000, just wouldn't exist. You can never have a piece of it. It never would be a part of the pie for you.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Right? You can't be upset that it's not there.
Like I said, I don't want to say a reasonable reaction, but you can understand someone who's like, I'm a pro, I compete in these tournaments, and I can't compete in this one, and now I'm out of this prize pool, I'm upset. But as soon as you start stepping back and looking at it with a more reasonable scope, you're like, wait a minute. Like, again, it's not like they had a tournament, and they're like, last minute, all the men who signed up, you're out of here. That would be, like, not a good move. But they made this tournament from scratch, as far as I know, and so this tournament is not taking away anything, it's only adding. And what it's adding is a bunch of interest in the game, right? It's like, you do have a lot of games, especially like CSGO, is very male-dominated, right? And so we're like, okay, let's try to get more women into this space. And again, these women, people were, they're not good enough to compete. Well, maybe not yet, but like, how long have they been on the scene? Probably not as long as some of the like male pros. So you give them their own tournament, they acquire these skills, and I bet soon enough they could be in the full-fledged tournament. Or you say, all right, the winners, or not the prize pool winners, but like the top whatever, they get places in the full tournament or something like that. And then you start to like, and we have another tournament, and we kind of combine it, and we just keep going from there. Like, it's going to create more positives for the game in the long run.
Right. And it's like, CSGO supports women, and then all of a sudden Tampax is sponsoring the CSGO majors, and they're getting a piece. Like, I don't know.
They're bringing in money. Like, but like, why they're bringing in money? They're bringing in fans.
Yeah.
Because guess what? If you have I always say, like, if you're so you're a female streamer, right? You're good at CSGO. Maybe you're not like good enough at that point to go into actual real tournament, but you get into this tournament and you do well, or even more likely and better for my example, you're not a CSGO pro, you're a female streamer, plays another first-person shooter, but you get into this tournament, or something like that, you have a little bit of CSGO experience and you do well. You're bringing your audience into CSGO. Yeah. You're like, all these people who are not part of the tournament scene are becoming part of the tournament scene. They're bringing their audience, and their audience might be like, all right, my streamer's not streaming. I loved CSGO. I'm going to go watch a male streamer who's on the top of the CSGO directory. You've just got a new viewer that you wouldn't have had before.
That's right.
And your viewers are sharing with other people. Like, you're just bringing more eyeballs. Like,
the rising tide raises all ships kind of a thing.
CSGO is going up. So if you're in that space, you will just naturally go up as well if more eyeballs, if more players are introduced.
Exactly. And like, maybe there aren't any pros because half of you guys are being misogynistic in the lobbies constantly. Like, no wonder it's because there's people like this that are just constantly shiitake mushrooming on any females that want to play the game. And like, here's the thing. Do you know what game has massive audience and a massive female audience? Or at least did? League of Legends. League of Legends has a massive female audience. Do you know what other game has a massive female audience? Genshin Impact. Like
massive.
25% of my audience is female now. It used to be used to be 1%. I couldn't believe it. I went on and looked at my stats.
That's cool.
I was like, what? And then I went in chat. I was on stream and I was like, are there any females on the Twitch stream right now? And it was just Caitlyn Tran. I was like, oh my God. I had no idea. And you know, if CSGO starts getting some of that female audience, Overwatch had a good female audience. There's a lot of females in the world. Like, if
90% of people are female, right? Dude. Like
99% of my audience was male, and then all of a sudden you add in the potential of 50% more than that to just like appear out of nowhere because of game. Imagine if you were an Animal Crossing streamer and you've got all the males and all the females that are interested in that game. It's a completely different ball game all of a sudden.
Yeah, so, like it's nothing but beneficial to overall that space. Like you're just adding more eyeballs and more players to the game.
Or at least it would be beneficial to that space if the leaders in that community rallied behind it and were warm and welcoming. I mean, Thorin was not the only one. There was a number of voices that sort of added to the pile. One of the more prominent ones being a guy named Semler, who is also a caster, works side by side with Thorin oftentimes, good buddies, right? And some of his takes on Twitter were like, in one tweet he called it a league with free money for women gamers. And it's like, how's it free? How's it free money if they gotta compete for it? You know what I'm saying? So it was those takes and those tweets that got massively upvoted and whatnot that would probably kill any good productivity you might make with a promotion like this, you know?
Well, because like you're on social media. Like it's like you can't just have a reasonable discussion. Everything's got to be so intense, right? Like they're pointing out, they're retweeting and constantly pointing out the women that are being toxic. And of course there's women who are being super overly toxic about this whole thing and saying, haha, you can't compete in the tournament, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's human beings. They're gonna be crappy people, but then they point out that and say, see, all women are like this. This is why we shouldn't have the tournament. And then most other people are like, bro, I'm literally like not doing anything. I'm just chilling. I was excited to compete in this tournament, right? Like you're focusing on this small, like generally like a toxic negative, and then you're promoting it, and then everyone thinks everyone's acting like that, and it's just like everyone's now bashing heads, and it's just a bad look overall. If like you can't just have like a normal. I bet if they just would have gotten everyone in a room and hashed it out, it would have gone better. But it's on Twitter, the most like one of the most toxic platforms of all time. So it's just like increase the toxicity by so much.
Yeah, I wonder if like, because even right now with what Activision's doing, we're gonna talk about Riot Games in a minute. $100 million settlement and stuff. I think right now is probably not a great time to be misogynistic and say anything like we're talking like even extra. It's never a good time. But now, is Thorin gonna get brought back to CSGO tournament casting?
I don't know.
Or is it like, nah, this guy's out of here?
From a professional standpoint, I wouldn't touch him.
I wouldn't touch him. No, exactly.
Yeah, no, it's not a good look at all.
And then is he gonna be like sitting at the desk with the other color caster, and she's sitting there like, hi, Thorin. Like
we're supposed to work together.
Yeah, like we're supposed to work together. I don't know. It just seems like it's weird thing.
Because it is weird because it's like, again, it's like if you really dilute it, you can understand why certain people are individually upset that they don't get to participate or people are being crappy to them on Twitter. But then again, it's like as soon as you take one step back, you realize, wait a minute, this is just going to bring way more eyeballs, unusual sponsors, more players into this game. It's just overall going to benefit everybody.
I mean-
and can I just say, like, it's so weird that all these, like, the thing that annoys me is there's so many guys out there that are like, oh, I want the gamer girl girlfriend, right? The gamer girl, the, you know,
Yeah.
the goth GF gamer girlfriend. Like, so many people want that. So many guys, like, talk about want that. And then if a girl's actually in their lobby, they're, like, toxic to her.
Yeah.
They go back to the kitchen, ha ha ha. And then later, like, why can't I find a gamer girl GF? It's like, because you're toxic, dude. It's like, dude, you realize.
Why does my girlfriend not like it when I play video games?
Yeah,
Well,
like, if you added. Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, my girlfriend doesn't want me to play. It's like, dude, like, play
Sorry,
with her.
guys.
And if she doesn't want to play, it's because, like, of all this crap. Like, yes, there is a stigma against. There is a little bit of a self-imposed stigma against women in gaming. Like, a lot of women was like, ew, gaming's lame, right? Like, and that's just goes back to when gaming was first introduced. Like, the older population would say gaming is bad. You know, all the stuff. You told me, Tash, your dad would be like, why are you spending 5 hours playing RuneScape? Watch TV for 5 hours. And you're like, that doesn't make any sense. It's still watching a screen. Like, you would have these negative stereotypes, you know, between gaming. And now, as the older population grew up with gaming, it's going down, but you still have it. So all we're trying to do is get more people into gaming. And the more people that are into gaming means better games, more, you know, more money to make better games,
Bigger
more
budgets
gamers,
and-
more people to play with. Like, it just benefits everybody.
Speaking of bigger budgets, Riot Games is going to need a bigger budget because they are about to pay out $100 million in a settlement from a few years back now.
You thought $500,000 was a lot of money. $100 million.
To Riot,
100 million.
how much money? Does it say how much Riot? How much?
Oh,
money does
probably
Riot make from
billions. Probably billions.
Yeah, while you're
Let's find out. Let's see if we can
what?
find out.
Okay, real quick, I do want to hit this while you're looking that up. One of the last comments in chat about the previous topic was that this horrible take where they're just saying, man, well, these women these days never would have survived in the old school lobbies. And he said it builds character. It's like, bro, just because something did happen in the past doesn't make would you say that about slavery? If someone is speaking out against racism, we'd be like, well, you never would have survived back during the Civil War. It's like, bro, that take is dog crap. Absolute dog crap. And if you actually stand behind that argument, man, I pity the way your brain functions, quite honestly.
Here's the thing: is I remember those Call of Duty lobbies, and in my headset, I was muting everyone because I was like, "That guy's racist. That guy's racist. That guy's racist. This guy's homophobic. This guy's sexist." Like, I was listening. I just muted them. It was like I didn't want to sit there and listen to it because they were just degens, like absolute degens. So if you're like, I was partaking in that and hurdy who, yeah, you're a hillbilly. So there you go. There you go.
It's this $100 million settlement is interesting because it's like, if I remember correctly, so 80 million is going to current and former employees, female employees at Riot Games. So people did contract work included. And then the other 20 million is actually to cover all of their legal fees for this whole multi-year process. So it's interesting how this might set some precedent, you know, moving forward, because there's actually, obviously, we've reported on a number of these situations this year already on the show, but there's a lot of other lawsuits out there right now that are working towards settlement. So it'll be interesting to see how this might, I don't know, maybe inform the way that these things go moving forward. I'm not sure.
Do you know what?
But it is sort of groundbreaking in that regard. It's one of the first times we've ever seen one of these cases like done, settled.
Yeah, and my question is, you know, 100 million, but how much is it per person, or like how do they do the math on it? Because let's say we're doing Riot and they're 100 million. I don't know how many people work at each of the companies, but like, let's say there's triple the amount of females that came forward or are part of this. Are they, you know, would Activision have to pay 300 million? Is it going to be a precedent set per person? You know, I don't know how that all happens, but the good news is the law now says, you know, this is what happened. Here's the precedent. We've proven it. You cross the line here, here's your penalty, and you pay it. And then they're going to be able to go into these other cases at Blizzard and just check that list and be like, yep, that happened, that happened, that happened. And they're going to get a big quote at the end saying, now here's all the money you owe. So, I mean, and good. You shouldn't be able to get away with this stuff, period. And honestly, I feel like it's been a long time. When did that scandal start? I feel like it was like
Years ago.
like 6 years ago, even.
I think
Like
it was.
I remember hearing about it a
long time ago.
God, don't quote me on this, but I feel like I was hearing about this about the same time, like the that original KDA Pop Stars, music video landed, and everyone was like celebrating Riot Games, and then it was like, but then here comes the other side of it. I felt like it came swiftly after that, where people were like, well, but hold up, don't be celebrating these guys just yet.
For some reason, in my brain here, was it in like around when Forsaken happened? Because, or sorry, not Forsaken. The Taken King, Destiny 1, The Taken King. Because I went and did that event at Red Bull, and I remember we drove past the Riot building, and I want to say someone made a comment about it, which would put this, that would put it quite a while ago. I can't quite remember, but I want to say that happened. Because we did it at the Red Bull building, and we passed the Riot building somewhere along the way. But I don't know. I can't remember. But that's a huge, huge deal.
Those processes are long and slow, sort of the way it goes.
Yeah. Speaking of other huge numbers, this one doesn't make sense. Cyberpunk near the top of the charts for 2021 sales. How? Everyone was saying it was the worst game ever. People were refunding it.
Worst
on
game.
PlayStation.
They
Sony pulled it.
Sony, it somehow made it to one of the top sellers, despite not being available to buy for a considerable amount of time right after it released too. Like, that was wild. And still,
is it? And here's my question: is it because of the release? Is it the launch? And
That's a great question.
Just didn't return it, or is it when they went? Because I think they did a 50% off sale, didn't they?
Here's how it shook down, because that was like when the news first broke about this, a number of articles were published kind of breaking it down. And that's what they said. Like, they said most people might have assumed that it made it this high up on the charts because of those initial sales. Like, it was marketed like crazy everywhere before the game launched. Everywhere you looked, it was Cyberpunk ads, and you're seeing Keanu Reeves in those ads and whatnot, drumming up hype. And so the pre-orders were high, the initial day purchases were high. And then people were assuming, okay, well, maybe they made enough then that it mattered at the end of the year. I mean, certainly they did have a big chunk of sales up front. That is true. But the reality is that what actually happened is you've got sort of like the platinum tier on Steam charts of what games were purchased, throughout the year. And those are the ones that everybody knows about, right? Everybody's heard about those games, and because they're widely reported on. They're in that platinum tier. But the thing about Cyberpunk is it was just underneath that platinum tier throughout the entire year. Just constantly making really good sales, but not extraordinary. But it was really good consistently throughout the whole time. And so by the end of the year, that accumulates. And now it looks really, really good at the end of the year on the charts. But it wasn't just purchases either. It was also time played, which is interesting because you might think people bought the game, hated it, and returned it or just dropped it altogether.
No.
So it sold well, but it didn't play well. No, it played really, really well. Like, in terms of hours reported for people playing this game, was way towards the top of the charts. It's crazy.
I wonder if it's just like the length of the game, and like even if it is a bit buggy here and there, people are like, for the money, it's worth it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how that plays out. But I want to watch someone's review of like, I went back to Cyberpunk and here's what I found. After all these updates, how is it? I really, honestly, it probably is fine now. If I went back and played it, I should just commit to it one weekend, as just like grind out the main story and mess around, because it does look beautiful. And I think I'm being harder on it than I should. Same with No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky, I've heard, is incredible compared to what launched. But I don't know. I feel like jaded and burned. And I'm like, I can't go back to No Man's Sky no matter how good it is. Maybe I'm just being dumb, though. Like, I know Gathalion's always hyping up No Man's Sky. And, like, I've seen all the... I've just seen, like, the posts from their company. And I can't remember the CEO's name, or, like, that main guy.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Sean Evans or something? No. I can't remember what his name is. But, I don't know. I feel like I get hurt when a game doesn't launch well, or I'm upset with things early on, I'm one of those people that's very fickle, and I will kind of just lose my taste and get frustrated with the game very quickly. Even Halo Infinite, with like every time I crash, I've got like a little tally list, and if it hits a certain amount, I'm just done. I just give up. I don't care if you fix the game. I'm mad.
Yeah, dude.
It's
just like I don't remember like a backlash this intense for like a game as Cyberpunk.
And then sell this well too? Like, what the hell?
It doesn't make any sense. Like, it was just so vitriol, and everyone was so mad at them. And, you know, there was a lawsuit we covered. They sued. Everyone was so mad they sued the makers. And they recommended for, like, you know, pretty much nothing. Or, sorry, they settled for, like, $1 million and stuff. Like, who's buying this game? Like, who's like, it felt like it was such a negative reaction. And so it calls into question, you know, man, is there like there's a lot of noise out there. A lot of people say stuff, but are they actually doing it? In this case, yeah, everyone's hating on Cyberpunk, and then they're secretly buying it and still playing it, or they're not refunding, and they said they would refund all this stuff. And it kind of reminds me of the Call of Duty Infinite Warfare thing, where remember it had so many dislikes because people didn't want it. Rip dislikes, by the way. YouTube removed that piece of history. But then, like, it still sold well. Like, it didn't sell amazing, but still sold well and made Call of Duty a lot of money. So it's like, well, does everyone dislike this game or not? Like,
is it because we live in like an echo chamber of like gamer culture? And so like we see all the outrage, but the average person is just like, I'm gonna get Cyberpunk, and they have no idea. They're just oblivious.
Yeah, I think a big part of it, honestly, a little bit about what you're saying, but I think the kind of people that are gonna sit down and play a several hour single player RPG are not. I mean, it doesn't clip well. I mean, no one's going out there posting clips of some nasty plays and quickscopes they're landing in Cyberpunk, right? So it's not getting posted. It's not getting widely circulated and shared. They don't have strong opinions that are worth going to Twitter for because, I mean, they're like, I don't even know how many people are playing this game. It's something that you kind of do in private, I guess. Like games like this, these immersive RPGs, they don't get a whole lot of attention on the social media side of things. But people they'll play that intro mission, like, oh, that was kind of cool. I like this character, and I've played Cyber. I got 2 through full playthroughs on Cyberpunk, and I can say like, there's a lot of things it does well. You feel immersed in the world. You start to really spec out your character in a very specific way, and you kind of get hooked on that gameplay loop. Like every time you meet a new challenge, you're like, how can I use like my skills with my character? Like I did one playthrough where I did no guns. It was all blades. So you're in like this hyper futuristic world where people are using like, you know, rockets and grenade launchers and guns with smart bullets that'll track targets, and you're running around with a katana. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. like some futuristic space ninja, and it's super cool. As much hate as the game got, like you feel really powerful. You feel like the things that you're speccing for really matter, and then it's got a great photo mode, and you're customizing lots of different parts of your character, cybernetic enhancements. Like it's just got a ton of stuff going for it that just doesn't get a lot of attention.
True. So let's move on to this next one. China bans Steam. Well, I mean, they banned gaming, so you can't even play any games. So, like, does it matter? I don't know.
This is an interesting one. There's a lot of news articles saying that well, first of all, GP Hash, absolute legend right there. What the heck?
Jesus Christ!
Hey, GP Hash, you that officially bought True Vanguard one whole bottle of whiskey right there.
I can get a refill tonight.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, GP Hash, absolutely. Thank you so much. And your support is very noted, and we're going into 2022 still banging.
Banging who? Wait, what?
We're banging still? We're still banging?
We are GP Hash's fund. That's going to fund the airplane ticket so we can do the hot tub stream in M-Hash's hot tub, and we were going to get it done, baby.
It's supposed to be here Friday, boys.
Two of us from the hot tub, and then one person away.
Fair.
All right, so what the hell was I saying?
China bans gaming. We don't know.
Oh yeah, so there's several articles are like, yeah, it's been banned, like people can't reach it, and then other people were saying, maybe not. It's still kind of a little like loose. I don't know exactly 100% what's going on, but Steam was unavailable to access for like 8 or so hours or quite a while in like all or some parts of China. Like it wasn't necessarily all China wide. And so it looks like potentially a move to remove the global version of Steam. So you can still access Steam, I think, but it's through like the Chinese. You can't just go to like the same like Steam website that the world uses.
Right.
You have to have like the Chinese specific version, which is of course, I mean, that's what China does, right? Like anyone can make a comment on Steam. They don't want anyone saying anything about a certain square where a certain thing happened. So like they're just gonna say, nope, it happens on our platform. And again, it's a move to, they've already gone after gaming, and so just kind of removing one thing after another. It's very crazy.
Boundaries, yeah.
At the same time, I see Tencent buying all these developers.
Yeah, so it's like, what are you doing? It's like,
what's
gaming is
going on
banned,
there?
but you're still buying all these.
Maybe they were going to move their operations or something like that.
Even like just this week, like Tencent was announced to be the publisher for Remedy's new free-to-play shooter, which is like tying in Alan Wake and the Control game, which was really freaking cool. Like I'm actually really excited about what this project could look like. And then you got Tencent out here, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like
did you hear what happened with Genshin?
No.
Genshin Impact's publisher MiHoYo.
Yeah.
They like offloaded publishing to a company in Singapore.
Really?
So it's not MiHoYo anymore. And I don't know what that means. And I don't know if they're still developing it, in China or what it all means. But yeah, they like moved their development or some of their development to Singapore, which is, is that because they want to avoid the government there and some of the restrictions? I mean, there was rumors that, like the government was trying to censor certain characters and change them, like Venti. Venti, they're saying is too close to like trans. Like it's too ambiguous if it's a boy or a girl because he's got like kind of long hair and a very high feminine voice. And so they were like apparently threatening, like, you need to change Venti to be more manly. And it's like, we're not going to change our character.
I remember seeing that like there was like a ban on like feminine appearing men in like movies and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So okay, we're going to
and
Singapore.
And then there's still gonna be some like CPP bot in the chat like, Rick doesn't know what he's talking about. It's not that bad over there. As he's got an AK to his head, like, you type faster. Just kidding. But like, it's like truly. You got to feel sorry for the average consumer because this is like decisions being made way up in the height of the government. The normal person living in China is just like, bro, I'm just trying to game or like, live my life and do whatever. And it is like, what will developer, if they're coming after gaming, yeah, like, are they going to start to try to influence or lessen or do whatever to all these huge developers in China, like MiHoYo, Tencent, all these places.
Right.
All these people, I should say, people.
Yeah, I saw like a little bit of a post. I can't remember if it was on Hot Ones. I might have heard it on Hot Ones, the recent episode with Gordon Ramsay, but they were kind of talking about how there's a bunch of influencers getting paid to go to like Beijing, and they're getting sponsors to like go travel there and hype it up, like, oh, Beijing is so cool and everything. But they're also getting paid to say negative things like, yeah, pretty crazy about the human rights stuff, but wow, the city's kind of cool, and like almost make it ambiguous, like, yeah, China's not the greatest, but the city's nice, in hopes of like faking like their concern about it, but still traveling in there and like, yeah, it sucks, but I'm still gonna travel.
I've been,
and it's like this whole conspiracy that the government is paying like a bunch of YouTubers and influencers. So if you ever see someone like doing a trip, there's a very good chance that they're getting paid to go there, which is, and I think like buku.
I didn't go as a creator. I just went as a traveler, but yeah, I've been to China and I had a very positive experience.
20 years ago when you were
an infant? Not an infant. No. I was an adult, but it was a while ago, a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. It should mean like we have no.
Cancel him.
This is all. It's crazy because this is all nothing about China or Chinese. It's just like the Chinese government has decided that the gaming is just that they like go after gaming. It just seemed like it kind of all happened in this year 2021, where at least it ramped up, and it just kind of felt so out of the blue, especially because it's like on the backs of companies like MiHoYo and Tencent doing so well, and I can only imagine. I can only imagine bringing in massive cash flow into China, into the GDP, and employing. How many people does MiHoYo employ? Probably quite a few, and Tencent and all these other developers. Like it seemed like China was like starting to ramp up and pop off within gaming, and then like just as that was happening, they're like, yeah, it seems very bizarre. Like,
and is it like we want the money that Tencent is making? But not if the money is coming from our own, people, like within the country. Like you could take the Americans' money with your game, but if you're taking our money, I don't know. I have no idea. But
it's just like a confusing thing. And
like we said, growing industry though, like gaming is not going anywhere but up. So you either embrace it or you get left in the dust.
Yeah. It is kind of crazy. And it's like we talked about earlier, like before this all happened, there was huge investments to that market. Like, why is Diablo making Diablo Immortal a mobile game? It's for that market. We have so many more mobile gamers, and it's like, are all those investments going to backfire a little bit now? We'll have to wait and see.
Yep. Let's move on now to, China hates Steam and gaming. Logan Paul.
China also hates Logan Paul, as it turns out.
Okay,
no,
remember that?
No, Japan.
Yeah. Oh, was that Japan? No, you're right. That
Japan.
was Japan. You're right. Yep,
but
my bad.
Logan
I'm sure
Paul...
people in China also hate him. A lot of people from a lot of places also hate this guy.
But he makes crazy money with his insane boxing skills.
That's the other Paul. That's mainly Jake Paul.
Whatever.
Mainly
They're
Jake,
the same thing.
So basically, what he did was epoxy.
Yeah.
Like so,
he basically made art.
Yeah, so
out of
epoxy
some OG
resin,
Game Boy Color.
Epoxy resin is kind of blown up. It's basically where you have something, you put epoxy like a clear liquid, and it hardens, and then you probably saw like classic is like there's like a scorpion inside, and you're like, oh, there's a little scorpion in here, and it's like a clear see-through. So Logan Paul took a bunch of old Game Boys and poured epoxy all over them. And now it's like a little table.
It's 15 used Game Boys, like Pokemon.
Yeah.
Like we're talking like let me see the picture.
Things Logan Paul did to be worthy of getting hate. This one, people were furious about it.
It was
They're like
trending for a while.
Yeah, these are like 25-year-old Game Boys that might not even turn on. Like, relax. Are you kidding me? I mean, kind of cool artwork. I would get.
I looked at that and I was like, man, I'd put that on my wall. That's kind of cool to have. Because I mean, I literally found my Game Boy Advance SP last week, and with like leaf green in it, and I was like, sweet, does it still work? Fired it up. I'm 20 hours in on a playthrough, baby.
Oh my god.
I know, hey, I'm here I'm a Game Boy gamer, all right? I've got a rich history there. But this did not piss me off. Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't. I was like, cool.
I could
and then
not care.
Like, wait, people are mad?
Yeah. So, I mean, there were some pretty hot. I mean, there was one take that was like, this is like typical rich people taking something that's meant to be used and enjoyed and making it unused,able for their enjoyment. Like, it's like, well, I mean, like, yeah,
it's 100% rich people crap. But it's like, what isn't? You know what I mean? Like, the dude bought these games. That's how it works. He bought these Game Boys and he wants to put them into some epoxy thing.
What's the difference between keeping it on a shelf? You're not playing it. It's like, if you wanted to just collect it, I have a bunch of Super Nintendo games. People collect Super Nintendo games and have them in a shelf and a bookcase. Like what's he reviews all the old games. Jared, I think his name's Jared. His YouTube channel, in the back of his YouTube videos, he's got like a whole shelf full of SNES games, and it's like, I'm sure he's played those and reviewed them for videos, but like,
But now they're just sitting there.
Now
Yeah.
he's not playing them every day. So at what point do you draw the line? It's like, well, you could have played it. It's like, well, who gives a shit? I'm not playing.
I understand. Like, I understand. There's the theory of like, well, you're basically like those are Game Boys that people who really value that and want that to use that could have had, and now they're in this stupid epoxy thing that one person's gonna have. Right? I understand that logic, but it's like, dude, there's emulators out there. You can download an emulator like for your phone and play Pokemon like Sapphire Red on your phone. You know what I mean? Like,
have you seen
the games are still out there?
There's now actual VR games that are you put on a VR headset and you're sitting in a chair with an old school TV and like a Nintendo or like an NES, you know, and you actually in VR pick up the cartridge and you have to put it in. And then it fires it up on the screen. So it's like a VR experience to experience what you did as a kid. Like,
yeah, these are not like lost games. Like, you can still access and play them. Although I am a little worried because I'm sure he's going to be getting the Nintendo lawsuit any minute now for breaking the most random terms of service thing that you would never even guess, bro. Nintendo's not our Game Boys. No, they're just mad people are like not buying the new stuff. They're mad they're being used for anything. If you probably play your old Game Boy, you probably get sued. That VR game, I'm surprised it's still up and running, baby. The Nintendo lawyers are on their way. Let me tell you.
Yeah, it's like, what about all those Pokemon cards that are stuck in plastic cases with the PSA 10 on them? It's like, well, you're not playing with those.
Well, here's the thing, like,
though.
So, part of it, honestly, one of the reasons it did blow up as bad as it did, this whole Logan Paul situation with these Game Boys, is because one time he already got in hot water from the Pokemon community, because one time he showed up to a fight wearing a Charizard. Yeah, that's right.
That's amazing.
In like a necklace. I thought it was like, I was like, oh, that's funny. I don't know why do you get like, it's like, bro, you gotta put it somewhere. Like, I'm sure
he's trying to pay homage to his. I'm sure, like, I'm not a fan of the Pauls. Like, I'm not like, you know what I'm saying. I don't go out of my way to like cheer them on, check out their stuff, and, you know what I mean. But like, I'm sure the guy wasn't out there like, I'm gonna do this to make people mad. I bet it was probably like man, but
it's more
such a
more
cool thing to
money
flex.
than a diamond. Like, it's more money than a necklace you could get. It's like, this is a flex, like, absolutely. But it's like, this card is worth more than me wearing a gold chain. Like, that's badass. Like, be proud of that thing. Like, show that thing off. People can be like, cultured. He's cultured with that Charizard. He's invested in a fine wine, a fine relic. Very nice.
Yeah, it's just like a weird thing because it's like, again, the dude has definitely done some stuff worth criticism and hate. Actually, why this crap?
Yeah, didn't Soda Poppin put a $4,000 Raichu in like Jello or something, or like lube? Yeah. Someone said in the chat there. Soda Poppin flipped a card open and it was like a $4,000 card and he put it in there. So it's like, rich people are gonna do weird stuff, but he's turning it into art. He's immortalizing these Game Boys that might not have even turned on. They might be broken. Like,
people are saying, they hate him for buying out like nearly all the stock of boxes. He literally has a stranglehold on the entire gens of Bogey cards. Yeah, it's like, well, you should have bought him sooner. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, someone's gonna do that. Someone has a stranglehold on Bitcoin or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, that. This is always gonna happen. It's like apparently it was a good idea. You know what I mean? Like, obviously,
I'm not saying
it's like
he's a good dude.
Yeah,
just to be clear, I'm not like the better.
He's not saying he's a good dude, but it's just kind of like, well, I don't know. I don't understand this one particularly. It just seems weird.
Also, he's
taking
on all the risk of like, what if those Pokemon cards aren't valuable? So like, it's like, yes, he has all these Pokemon cards, and it's like, oh, no one else can buy them, and it's jacking up the price. But it's like, he also is assuming all the risk that they could be worth nothing down the road if like something happened. Like,
I think,
I don't know.
The bigger story is just like the fact that people are even upset, like how valuable this stuff has become. Like, nostalgic Game Boys and Pokemon stuff. Like, it's just absolutely skyrocketed in value recently. Just for opening, like, it's weird because I'm a Magic the Gathering player, and there's certainly some extremely, I mean, the Black Lotus is like $100,000 or whatever, you know, but like my most expensive card is like maybe like $200 or something like that, $200 to $300. Like, the values of the Magic cards, like the really old ones, are high, but like it's just I mention it because it's like Magic has a big pro scene, especially in like Arena. They have lots of tournaments. It had especially before the pandemic, huge pro scene. I don't think there's the same for Pokemon. Like I don't really see a lot of like pro, like people are not buying Pokemon cards to make a deck. They're buying Pokemon cards specifically for that lottery factor of those super shiny, extra rare cards.
Right.
It's just like a complete collector's thing. It's like I think a lot of people that collect don't even know how to play the game.
Most people
Sure.
don't.
Yeah, it's just kind of crazy.
Did you guys play that game? The Game Boy game where it was like the Pokemon cards.
Oh no, not
Game Boy game,
not the cards one.
where you
No,
had
no.
like gym battles. You'd go to like a gym where you had to fight the trainer's deck. Did anyone in chat remember that game?
No.
I played the crap out of that for a bit when I was a kid because we were collecting the Pokemon cards, and then that game came out, and we were like, "Yo!" It's like you could collect them virtually, and fight with them. So I was totally into playing the game.
Do you know which content creator that you guys would both know was like a pro Pokemon card player though, and like went to Worlds or like
Shadow,
Nope.
Fruit.
Yeah, Fruit.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was gonna be my guess.
And it's such an interesting story. He did it. He talked about it on the podcast. But Fruit, he like couldn't afford all the different decks and stuff, and like he didn't have like a lot of people around him to play against. So he would draw out other like meta decks, and he would play both sides and be like, "What would I do here to beat this hand?" And so he'd like obviously have some bias, but he would have to like play himself to train for these tournaments, and then he'd go and he'd win. He'd like win these tournaments and show up with these decks, and he joined like a clan of like of different card players, and like some of them that were really good, and it was like it was such a cool story. I listened to the whole podcast and I was like, "Whoa, this is amazing."
Yeah,
it just
cool.
never.
I know something.
It never came up in conversation, but I listened to this thing. I was like, "Whoa, like a whole new side of you."
I had a first edition Charizard.
Well, why'd you get rid of it?
No, it was stolen. Some asshole came to my house, stole my Pokemon cards. We went to his house. We're like, "You stole my cards," because like I just like he came over and looked at them, and then they were gone. And he's like, "No, I didn't." And we're like, "Nothing really we can do." Like I guess we could have called. Like at the time, my parents didn't understand. I was like, "We gotta like, can we call the police?" So like, there's like cards, bro, right? Yeah. And then now it's like, "No, I want those. I want the SWAT team searching this guy's house."
That's right, dude.
You know what I mean?
Funny. I had a really similar experience. But do you remember Tony Hawk's Pro Skater?
Mm-hmm.
There was the one of the boards you could get was the American Zero board. It was yellow, had the 3 stars on the back. I think maybe one person chat might be able to recall this board.
Yeah,
Anyways, this was a board in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1. I loved the game. I was really into skating at the time. Both aggressive inline and skateboarding. And I actually got for Christmas, no, it was for my birthday one year, my parents got their hands on a first wave American Zero board, and it was my baby. I mean, like I'd take that thing apart, I'd clean the wheels, the trucks, everything. And a kid came over in a group of kids one day. We were hanging out at my house. He was like, "You checked out my board, whatnot." When everyone left, after a while, I realized the board was gone. And same thing, where I'm like, "Dude, you stole my board." "No, I didn't. No, I didn't. No, I didn't." And there was nothing we could do. I lost it.
Yeah,
Scum.
If my kid's like, "This guy stole my," I'm going nuclear. We're getting this board back, baby. You know what I mean? Like, because anything collectible, I think now like our generation understands. Like anything collectible, you can't just throw away for a garage sale, dude. All the boomers are like having garage sales. If I ever see like a thing of like Pokemon or Magic cards, I'm like, my son went to college. I'm like, yeet, like give me that. That's $100,000 right there. You know what I mean? Or whatever it is. It is crazy that it's like people just don't understand the value of it. They just selling them on garage sales.
Yeah, like I sold my Earthbound Super Nintendo game Earthbound for $160 because I had like the game book with it. I had both of them, like the game guide and that, and the guy gave me $160 just for that game. And it's like, how many times does he show up to a garage sale and there's a bin of Super Nintendo games? He's like, "Holy cow, I can sell these for money." Or like they swoop them up, and you always see videos like there's entire subreddits on that, like people scoring big deals from like garage sales. Like this one I saw, it was all this like
Or
crystal
thrift stores.
Yeah, and it was like all this like crystal like dining ware, and it was all like from Tiffany's, and they appraised it at like $16,000 from their grandma, and they're like they got it for like $80, and they're like,
Yeah.
sure. Like,
Or it's like,
so
I
many
found this
crazy ones.
table. It looks like a normal table. It's like the woodwork of some famous, like George Washington made it, and it's like
It's from his
$50,000,
cherry tree,
and you're
bro.
like, what the heck?
Actually, speaking of tables and speaking of epoxy, I went on like a binge of watching this guy who makes these like epoxy wood tables.
Yeah.
So it's
and like has like the river through the middle and
Oh,
stuff.
there's so
Yeah,
many
yeah.
good ones.
Yeah,
I
some
saw
are really
one,
cool looking, no
he
doubt.
took like a torch to the wood, like he burnt all the wood and then he put in
Uh-huh.
the epoxy, so it has like the charred wood. So
Yeah.
cool. Now I want one, and I'm like, are people gonna cancel me for putting some wood?
Hey
in
man,
epoxy
I
now?
have a buddy who has a business that does that. He makes
really?
he makes epoxy home furniture from live wood, live edges and stuff like that. So
All right, tell him
if
to
you want to commission him, I'll give you his deets.
ship it to Canada.
That's right.
I can't imagine it's too bad. Like,
I really wouldn't
couple
know.
$100. I'll Google it. Oh, you Google it.
Well, since we've already transitioned, we're gonna do RGH after dark. So guys,
Yeah.
this is the part where we're gonna answer your questions. So go ahead. Obviously, priority is given to members, and donators, and
MTash Mango Splash is sold out, but luckily,
oh my god,
Cactus Kiwi Lime is still there holding the torch. Did you know that you can get 10% off advanced.gg using code RGH? Whoa, that's crazy.
Oh,
oh!
Pick up some Cactus Kiwi Lime or some of the other amazing flavors and get your energy on so you can, not be asleep at your desk when you're doing a spreadsheet.
I actually
Or
had
watching
some,
a Cactus movie video.
not gonna lie, I had some mango splash because I still have some, but I had some mango splash before this, and it's saving me. I'm so tired. Like I was so tired today. It's good.
I had some kiwi lime actually today because I was up till 2 a.m. finishing my Polaris Lance YouTube video. And then the kids are wide awake at 6:30 in the morning, so it's like,
You're
so
a
I had some
zombie.
kiwi lime this morning to get me moving. Hey, by the way, everybody, I know we had a lot of donations come in tonight as well. If you want to support the stream, you want to support the show, but you don't have the money to throw at the screen, one of the best ways you can support us is just by hitting the like button on the stream. Bumps the podcast up, and the algorithm gets fresh eyes on the show. So we really appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. Now, all right. So Tash, you want to go over some of the donators and new
Sure.
members?
We got a new one, Ace Games at everyone. Hey guys, how is everything so far? Rick, the adapter for the headset is out of stock on Astro, but I found it on Amazon.
He won the Astro A40s.
Ooh, nice.
But unfortunately, you have to get an adapter to use on PS5. Like it still works, but the thing doesn't work. There's a whole interesting story behind like PlayStation does not play well with like third party, like the Astro controller that was just starting to get traction. A lot of people really like that. It worked for the PS4. PS5 came out. They're like, yeah, it's not gonna work for PS5. Astro's like, why? They're like, it's just not.
Yeah,
Like,
they're weird.
like they're so weird.
Are you guys gonna check out Tiny Tina's Wonderlands?
Absolutely. When's it
Yeah.
come out again?
One of the days, I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
I don't know. I don't know what day. Google it. Have you ever heard of using a computer? I'm interested in it. Short interest on AMC is up.
March
at
25th, which is
40%.
perfect.
Thoughts on this topic? Short interest on AMC is at 40%.
Yeah, no, we're not talking about stocks again, Tash.
Yeah.
No, I do nothing but lose money on all these stupid Reddit things. Bro, the short is this. Trust me, bro, once in a lifetime. Okay, the once in a lifetime already happened, I feel like it was GameStop, and I don't know, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna just relax on that stuff. I'm gonna invest in really chill companies.
Speaking of...
Christopher Sharp with a $200 donation. We're donating the Tash needs a new keyboard fund. Hey,
150 that goes to me for my new drink, and then you can have the other 50 for your
This thing will be fine. Look at this thing. It's got buttons. God, this feels bad. This one is not very nice, but it'll make do. And you know what's funny? So here's the fun part of the tale. I smashed the keyboard. I dumped the water. I melted it. It is what it is. I smashed it over my knee because I was like, oh, well, it's fine. I have another one in my closet. I go in the closet and I'm like, oh, this is awkward. And then I started looking back and I was like, I gave a keyboard away to my brother. I gave one to my friend. No, not even my friend. My friend's roommate because his died and it just came up in conversation. And then I just recently donated one to like a silent auction. There's like my mom was helping with like a homeless shelter kind of silent auction thing. And she's like, do you have any gamer stuff? I was like, I do. I have a mouse and a keyboard. So I donated it. And then I went in there. I didn't have anything. So I couldn't even end
You're
my
too
stream.
generous.
Too generous.
That's
and so
funny.
it was pretty awkward. And I was sitting there and I had like already broke the keyboard and I was kind of pushing it back together. And I was like, I can't stream anymore. So things got ended early today, but
That's funny.
is
I saw your tweet. I was like, swatters everywhere. I was like, what's going on?
What
over
is
there?
happening?
Yeah, it was pretty brutal.
That's funny. Lone Wolf, to answer your question, I was sipping on a paper plane tonight. Really easy, really tasty drink.
It looked
What's
good.
in?
It looked
What's
fancy.
in the paper plane?
Oh,
TV.
that's so cool that you would ask, because I know you don't care.
Is there
But it's
a
lemon
daiquiri?
I'll make you a proper daiquiri one day. I promise.
I want a non-proper one. I want a juicy,
Listen,
sugary
no.
one. Please.
No. I'll make you a daiquiri the way I make them for my wife. All right, you'll love it.
That's gonna be too strong for me. I gotta tell you right now.
I want
your
water
wife, what
and
your wife
juice.
can handle, I can't.
Anyways, paper plate is lemon juice, Aperol, Amaro No Nino, bourbon.
Pretty simple.
Yummy.
Pretty easy.
I don't even know what Amaro no
It's-
Nino is.
It's Italian liqueurs, bourbon, and citrus.
Oh, from the
Right.
waterfalls of Napoli, Naples, under a bridge, and there's one mushroom they grow. They extract the
When I went to
spores.
Italy, when I went to Naples, they had the Amaro del whatever salesman, and he was under a bridge. You had to like go and find him. Yeah, and you had to. There was a secret key to open the door.
And if you didn't answer his question, you had to take your
And
pants
it
down.
cost
and like,
it cost 3 shekels. I had to give the guy my shekels, and then he gave me the mythical thing, and he blessed it with
amazing.
the fire of a dragon, and then we came back.
I tried a new spice
TV's like
rum.
TV's so annoyed. He's like, oh my god.
Yeah, I'm
It's
just letting you do your
He's
thing.
like, I bought it
Keep
at the
going.
local liquor store. What do you think this is?
I tried a new spiced rum this Christmas called
Captain
Shipwreck.
Morgan's.
And
Oh, okay.
It was kind of good. It was pretty sweet, pretty delicious. And I did something really fancy, True Vanguard.
Did you?
I learned how to do something really fancy with my drink.
Rum and Coke?
I
You added Coke to your rum?
I pressed my drink, which is you add
Yeah.
water, so it's not as strong. There's not as much sugar. You add a little
Listen, I'm gonna make you feel
water.
better. I'm gonna make you feel better about that right now.
Mhm.
Every mixed drink
Yes.
is diluted with water. It's either shaken or it's stirred over ice to dilute it to cut some of the harshness of the booze. Every drink is diluted with water.
So I'm not a weirdo.
You're totally fine.
You're fine, Tash.
All right, beautiful. Yeah, did you guys get anything cool for Christmas? Any cool gifts? I got a tile. It's like a tile system. So you got like a little card and you put in your wallet, and then you put a little thing on your phone, and then a keychain on your key, and then it links all of them and it pings them so you can't lose them.
That stained glass window?
That is actual stained glass
Just
that,
shut up then, I guess.
that an
Yeah.
artist was commissioned to make. That is custom stained glass with my logo, Shaq's,
Jeez.
everything. This is so dope, isn't it?
That's sick. Yeah, I got some Lululemon sweatpants. Now I feel I ain't got a stained glass window.
Pretty cool, huh?
Are the pants comfy? I'd like to see
Yeah,
you in
they're really
those
comfy.
pants,
I'm wearing them now.
and I'd like to see them on my bedroom floor.
Oh my god. All right, we got to end with that. I got to go.
If you're listening, I have I've positioned my hat in a way that it makes me look bald. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's not a good look.
Maybe you should tune into the YouTube channel once in a while. Check out some of our little clips, because we make some pretty good little clips over there and highlights. Or just come watch the episode. It's a different experience when you can see our reactions and our face and us hiding yawns because it's so late. And we're so tired, but we love talking about gaming at the same time.
We go through some. I mean, Tash had to go through. He lost his keyboard completely. Was unable to do any work or whatever. Had to go rush out and get another one. It was a big day for him.
And honestly, that's the first
he's
time I've
losing
been
his hair
outside
because
in
of it.
weeks.
Clearly,
That's right.
Like that's scary going out in the real world. I hate that. I'm not doing that anymore. Like I don't think I've started my car in like 9 days. It's just been sitting in my garage, and I'm like, hopefully it's all right.
For real. Go out to the wide world. You can't turn the brightness down. It's BS.
Now,
I hate that.
Actually, some pretty good points in chat. This is gonna be the last stream for the RGH podcast for the entire year. Luckily, in 2022, we will be back because we do these every Wednesday night
at 9 p.m. Eastern, baby.
Yep, and it's gonna be incredible. Next episode, I'm sure there's gonna be big news because every time something drops right before
Twitch is about time. Twitch does something catastrophically dumb.
That's right.
What's it been like 2 weeks? This is incredible.
Honestly, next week, watch like Twitch officially hires Thorin as the community outreach director.
Like new CEO of the company.
Anyways, honestly.
Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to follow us here on YouTube. Make sure to follow us there on Spotify. And thank you so much for liking the podcast. We got 140 likes, which is pretty good considering we were at 97 until True Vanguard threatened you all to press the like button. That was incredible.
Bruh.
Really good return on investment there.
That was good. Good
threat. I forgot. I was going to give away one of the Brightwing emblems. I had 10. I gave 9 away on my stream, and I saved 1 for RGH.
Wait, did you tweet about it? Did you tweet about it? No, right? We'll give it away.
We can do it next week.
We'll give it away next episode, and then we can tweet about it and actually get some freaking viewers from it. How about that?
That's right. So we'll have to do that next week. So
we'll let you guys know. Next week, we're giving away that Brightwing. We have 1 code for that Brightwing emblem we're giving away.
Well, maybe. I might do something crazy and put it in epoxy and put it on my wall. Yeah, and it'll be rendered unusable.
As long as Logan Paul doesn't get it, we're giving away Brightwing emblem.
Perfect.
Next week.
I'm MTashed.
I'm Cactus HD.
I'm True Vanguard.
And this was the